Well, hello and good afternoon from Dallas, Texas today, where we're hosting this 30-minute webinar on our top spots, our favorite and new incentive hotels for 2019 and 2020. Thanks to everybody for sharing a few minutes of your day with us. We really appreciate that. We value your time. We're going to attempt to have Q&A as we go throughout today, so feel free to chat in your questions and we'll try to respond to those as we see them. Let's see. I would like to introduce our three very capable speakers. I am Mike May. I'm president of BrightSpot. I'm also the 2018 chairman of the Incentive Research Foundation, which puts out some of the very best research in our industry. I'd encourage you to go to theirf.org and sign up. You can get the research for free if you're not already signed up. I'd also like to introduce to you Michael Butler. Michael is our Director of Strategic Accounts here. Michael is very active with SITE, the Society of Incentive Travel Excellence, serving on their Research and Education Committee. And then we also have Rachel Butts, who's our Solutions Development Manager. Rachel is also a millennial, so she's here to represent the voice of all millennials across the globe.
Our token millennial. Thanks for having me.
Next, I'd like to give a brief shout out and thank you to our friends at Maui Jim who generously donated a gift card, which we're going to use for an audience drawing at the end of this presentation. So with that, we are going to launch into our presentation. We start in the Caribbean with Michael Butler.
Thanks, Mike, and hello everybody out there. Thank you for joining us. So as we do start here in the Caribbean, it is worth pointing out, especially to you fellow Caribbean subject matter experts, I put myself in that category, the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, did you know, are the portion of the West Indies that are not actually a part of the Caribbean, located in the North Atlantic Ocean rather than the Caribbean Sea, but they are often grouped with the nations of the Caribbean for convenience, which we did here. So we hope you forgive us for that. So a light fun fact to kick things off, Mike. So to Nassau we go in the Bahamas in this brand new SLS Baha Mar property. You may be wondering, SLS stands for Style, Luxury, and Service. A high-end boutique, and you'll find it at this mega resort, which is a short 15-minute transfer from the airport on newly constructed roads, JFK Parkway, I believe it's called. So those of you familiar with the other behemoth there, Atlantis, could take you 45 minutes to an hour to get across the island. You won't have those problems getting to SLS in Baha Mar. Someone asked me recently, does that mean you hear airplanes taking off and landing? Definitely not. You don't hear airplanes taking off and landing. So let's see, so much to offer at this beachside resort property along the infamous Cable Beach. You won't need to leave until your departure time. A couple quick notes on Baha Mar. Several Bellagio-style fountains overlooking outdoor venue space adjacent to their large meeting and conference area on the opposite side of the beach of the hotels, which you'd see upon arrival. Beautiful. Largest Vegas-style casino in the Caribbean. Think Steve Wynn, really upscale. You're probably imagining gold and bright red colors, just a beautiful casino resort on the lobby floor. And the resort also houses two towers of Grand Hyatt, comprising of 1,800 contemporary guest rooms, each with a distinct style and vibe. The 5+ star option on this property at Baha Mar would be the Rosewood, which is opening fully this month, completing the Baha Mar mega resort. We love this SLS option for a group of up to several hundred with just lots to do on property. Next stop, and this one is in the Caribbean, Anguilla, a sentimental favorite, as my sweet wife Stephanie and I were honeymooning there a short 24 years ago. Mike, I don't know if you knew that. There wasn't a Four Seasons on the island at the time, but we probably couldn't have afforded it if there was. But maybe I
did know that.
You did know that? Okay. Maybe the perfect spot for an upcoming anniversary, Mike. Wink, wink. Four Seasons Anguilla, formerly the Viceroy Anguilla. This property was completely refurbished and opened just before the hurricane season last year, which we've all read about. They have refurbished again and reopened. So, after 2 renovations the past few years, this is a place you're certain to find double the pleasure, doubly enhanced. Here you'll find at the Four Seasons Anguilla 181 rooms in villas with more than 80% overlooking the break and surf and blue horizons of 2 of Anguilla's 33 spectacular beaches. And just a small tip, having done some incentive trips to this island, Sandy Island is a short boat ride and an amazing group venue for that private island day getaway with entertainment, water activities, fun in the sun, and of course Anguilla's signature cocktail drink, the rum punch. So from there, I think we are moving off to the lovely country of Mexico and a couple fresh ideas.
Yeah, let's see. Buenas tardes from Mexico, right, Michael? So this first property we're going to highlight is LeBlanc Los Cabos. So if you're not familiar with the LeBlanc brand, it is part of Palace Resorts. They opened their first property in Cancun about 10 years ago. This LeBlanc just in Cabo opened this April, so brand new. So many meeting planners might be familiar with Grand Velas in the 5-star all-inclusive category. This would compete directly with Grand Velas. I say that because there's a lot of properties that I think in the all-inclusive category try to say they're all-inclusive with 5-star service, but there's only a handful that are. So this completely elevates the game of all-inclusive from what you may have thought of a decade ago. For example, I highlight this restaurant Lumiere that has a 7-course tasting menu. So that gives you a sense of the high end of the hotel. They have butler service, and I would really highly recommend this. I think another great thing about Cabo right now is it's such a competitive market that I think you might find a good value for the price when you go to Cabo. So good shout out for LeBlanc.
Yeah, lots of activity there too in Los Cabos. I understand 20 new hotels and resorts either just recently opened or in the process of the build phase and opening soon. So great destination for incentive travel. And then we head across Mexico to Unico, 20 degrees north by 87 degrees west, signifying their latitude and longitude. You'll find this new gem. Personally, one of my new faves in the sought-after Riviera Maya region of Mexico and a welcome addition to the area. I love their tagline, authenticity by design. You really do experience that from arrival to the restaurant outlets in their layout and on through to the many venue options that they have. I've been a fan of the Hard Rock All-Inclusive brand for a decade now or more, and aging out of that a bit these days, Mike and Rachel, but I was eager to experience this, their new Ultra All-Inclusive approach, which is kind of new for me and maybe new for you as well, where spa, salon, golf, and other excursions are included in the room rate. So Ultra All-Inclusive means your attendees can have a mani in the morning and a pedi or massage in the afternoon, or maybe they played that round of golf and want to play another 18 for 36, and you're not having to scrounge up extra monies to account for that because you paid for it in the hotel rates. This property is nestled on a gorgeous beach between Puerto Aventuras, where your group would board a catamaran for an ocean ride, and Acamal, just south of Playa del Carmen and about halfway to Tulum. So it is a good ride from the airport, say about an hour and 15 minutes if you're counting. We'd like to give them a special shout out for hosting our 2017 Bright Spot Educational Retreat with many of our clients last fall.
Yeah, thank you. Now, Michael, you said everything is included at absolutely zero additional charge. Could that possibly be right? Spa, salon, and excursions?
Well, Mike, you know me well enough. I'm reading the fine details as you've taught me. There is a service charge, so they may get you for 20% service charge on $100, $150 mani or pedi or massage. But yeah, there are some small fees that we would sure to work into the budget if we were.
Hey, well, you might pay 20% for a gratuity anyway, so that is fabulous, and we did have a great experience there in the fall and have pitched that to several clients.
Great. So let's jump across the pond. Just back from Madrid yesterday and a little jet lagged. Some time in Spain and Costa del Sol. So I'm eager to see what we're sharing, fresh ideas from across the pond. Rachel, what do you have for us?
We have the beautiful Hotel Savoy in Florence. And it's no coincidence that this property sits in the birthplace of the Italian Renaissance, as Hotel Savoy recently completed a renaissance of its own. It reopened in April of 2018 after a massive 6-month renovation of all of their guest rooms, public spaces, and restaurant, Irene, which you can see at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. It's perfectly situated in the city center and is mere steps away from some of the most historic sites in Florence, including the iconic Duomo, the Uffizi and Accademia galleries, which the latter is home to the Statue of David. Or if your group prefers shopping, there's plenty to do in the leather markets or the Ponte Vecchio area. As part of the Rocco Forte Hotel collection, this boutique hotel is unique to its destination, incorporating local flair and historical touches. For example, the family teamed with the famed Italian design house Emilio Pucci, helping to redecorate the entire property. They've thought of everything from what's on the walls to what's on your bedside, including copies of Dante's Divine Comedy. For groups, Hotel Savoy offers one unique event space that can hold up to 50 guests, as well as the penthouse Duomo suite, which overlooks the famed dome. Perfect for your evening cocktails or business meeting.
Yeah, Rachel, that's a beautiful shot of the executive sleeping room.
Absolutely.
Okay, Michael.
Great. From there, in Europe, we take you to the Isle of Ireland, the Emerald Isle. So probably gives away the time to consider this as a destination late spring through October when it's most green. The western side of Ireland, so really two options in Ireland. Many might consider Dublin in the east or castles in the west. And so we're going to show you this castle in the west. Or I say castle, but I've recently learned that castles were for fighting, manors are for living. So it's appropriately named Adare Manor and not Adare Castle. About 20, 30 minutes from Shannon, great lift from the States into the western part of the island in Shannon. Or you could do a split here and have them come in or out of Dublin for a couple of days. But this property has lots to offer. There are the Cliffs of Moher, the famous Cliffs of Moher, a little over an hour up the western coast. On property, the golf club is vying for the 2026 Ryder Cup, and the owner, J.P. McMasters of Adare Manor, he's got great history in the town of Limerick. Started out booking bets and then into some more legal financial way of living. I poured about €100 million into this property. It just reopened late last year. And they almost doubled in size, Mike, which was really surprising to me. I was wondering what I was going to see when I went recently from an old, few century old castle that was trying to double in size and how the difference in rooms. But they took every tile off the top, every vine off along all the sides, scrubbed the whole thing down, including every tile, put it back together, and it really allowed them to match the rock best they could. And so it's really a seamless transition to the now 104 plus guest rooms. You know, it is Old Castle Manor style, so one caution here is there are different room types, and I mean, they might call it the same product, but you know, the view might be a little bit different as you're in an area. You can see the undulations of the front elevation of the property there. Actually, that's probably the side. But back to the golf course, just beautiful grounds. The Fox and Hound in the lower right is a great addition to any incentive trip as your attendees, winners, VIP guests arrive in Mercedes or Sprinter to be welcomed with a signature Jameson or Guinness and the Fox and Hound. And then some beautiful on-site activities. We got to spend some time with the local beekeeper for our group because the planner there loves bees. So they got lots of natural, sustainable activities.
So, Michael, I know you just booked a client trip here to Adare in Ireland. When do you recommend Ireland? What time of year?
Yeah, definitely May to October. Any time in the summer would be great.
Okay, wonderful. Uh,
All right, now we head up a little further to the east here to Switzerland. Located mountaintop in the middle of Lake Lucerne sits the Bergenstock Resort, a luxurious retreat and celebrity haven since 1873. Last summer marked the completion of a 9-year, $560 million renovation, leaving in its stead the completely renovated and breathtaking Bergenstock Resort. Bergenstock is comprised of a walkable, car-free city featuring 382 hotel rooms spread over 4 hotels, as well as 12 restaurants and bars. Bergenstock can be accessed by flights to Zurich or Lucerne airports, and the best times to visit are May, June, or September, October. The mountainous yet refined resort offers world-class activities including a 9-hole golf course, 3 championship tennis courts, horseback riding, curling, and water sports. Not to be outdone, the resort also boasts the Alpine Spa, which you can see to the top left of your screen, and it features a 45,000 square foot medical spa and heated outdoor infinity pool hanging over the mountainside. If your group wishes to leave the resort, they can take the highest outdoor lift or funicular in all of Europe and be at the base of the mountain in under a minute to experience all that Lucerne has to offer.
Okay, so Rachel, you just taught us a new word. Michael
Yes.
taught us the definition of a manor. What is that little red vertical railroad car?
I'm probably butchering the name, but funicular.
Funicular. I love it. Well, we're always striving to learn here. So,
Yeah.
from Europe, swinging around the world to Hawaii, we're going to talk about 2 here on the wonderful island of Hawaii. First up is Wailea Beach Resort, which this one should have probably a comma after the name that says, comma, Marriott. This is a Marriott resort, but even the understated branding of Marriott tells you a lot that this is a higher end resort within the Marriott portfolio. They have a tagline that they were first on Wailea and now the newest, meaning they were the very first hotel to build on that location in Wailea, which is on the southwest corner of the island of Maui. But then last year they finished a $100 million renovation. I toured this last summer. I was extremely impressed with how far $100 million went in Wailea. The guest rooms looked beautiful. As you can see in the upper left photo, very modern but high-end materials, beautiful view of the Pacific. One of the other things that I really like about this hotel is it's got a number of excellent outdoor venues where you can take advantage of the scenery, not have to spend much on decor or centerpieces or things like that. The scenery becomes your decor. It's kid friendly. In the lower left, you see a kid pool. I like that the kid pool is tucked over in the corner, so if you have an adults only program, they don't feel like they're at a water park. But just love this location. If you're familiar with the chef Roy that has the Roy's Seafood Restaurants, he opened a new concept here called Roy's Humble Market Kitchen. I also there's a number of walkable options in this area. You can somewhat see in the lower right corner, there's a beach walk that can take you all the way from the Andaz to this resort, to the Grand Wailea, all the way down to the Four Seasons and the Fairmont Kea Lani. So really great corner of the world. Another property that we're excited about is over on the Big Island. I should pause and give a public service announcement for Hawaii tourism that the tourist areas of the Big Island are all perfectly safe, even though we read every day about Kilauea spewing more lava. Remember that the island is called the Big Island, and it's called that for a reason. The volcano is about 100 miles away from these tourist areas. But what I'm excited about is to see a Westin come to the Big Island. Many of us before were not familiar with the Prince Hapuna Resort, but after Westin has spent $46 million, next month they will open with all oceanfront rooms, which I like. I guess all of us like here, because then attendees are not debating who has a better view if everybody has the same room category. So this one I think is going to be very interesting. We'll be seeing this soon. We haven't seen it since it'll open next month, but really good opening on the island of Maui, or on the Big Island.
So, Mike, I have a question for you. I see Marriott on Wailea, Maui, and then Westin on the Big Island. And my first thought is you combine those two with Hawaii, and maybe that scale tips just a little bit. So, obviously, there's something to that. How do they overcome that? And then what's the value to the client for a program like that at one of these places?
Yeah, I think
that
that's
may sit above the brand.
Yeah, I think that's a great observation. Many times I feel like the top hotel within a brand portfolio will exist in Hawaii because Hawaii is such a competitive market. There is rarely a down season. They might say October and November is their down season, but all year long their occupancy is high. So with good revenues, they're constantly reinvesting into their property. So in this case, a Westin and a Marriott are really going to be high caliber. I think a 4.0 star elsewhere within this portfolio might be a 4.5 star somewhere in Hawaii. So great observation. Let's see, coming back stateside to the mainland as the Hawaiians call, and we are going to go to Charleston with Rachel.
Absolutely. So located in the antebellum city of Charleston, South Carolina, Salamander Resorts has chosen the perfect location for their new hotel, Hotel Bennett, on the historic Marion Square. Marion Square is host to some of the biggest activities in the city, including the Charleston Food and Wine Festival and the Charleston Fashion Week. The city of Charleston has long been revered as a must-see city in the U.S. In fact, it's been voted #1 city in the U.S. and Canada by Travel and Leisure for the last 5 years. The city is quickly becoming a prime destination for domestic incentives, and Hotel Bennett is making its mark as the grandest new luxury hotel in the South. The hotel features a rooftop pool and speakeasy-style lounge, as well as 15,000 square feet of meeting space. So after a cocktail reception soaking in the panoramic views, your group is only steps away from multiple James Beard awarded restaurants. The hotel also features the Concierge Club, which allows your high-end groups exclusive access to the club level, featuring an outdoor terrace with views to King Street, creative culinary experiences, and a dedicated staff to assist your group with hard-to-obtain tickets and reservations in the city. Hotel Bennett is nearing the completion of its construction with plans to open for groups in October of this year.
Good. Rachel, one of the things I think you said that is a tremendous observation is there are 3 cities in North America that always rate high in Travel and Leisure and Condé Nast magazine of popular cities, but yet meeting planners frequently overlook them. And I think we need to go to those cities more often. One of them is Charleston, another one is Santa Fe, New Mexico, and another is Savannah, Georgia. So yeah, I love that you chose to highlight Charleston and Hotel Bennett.
Before we jump off, maybe if I could, I love that area as an option, the southeast. We're using the Montage Palmetto Bluff down the road. The Westin on Hilton Head Island just came through a huge renovation, looks stunning. The Sea Pines on Hilton Head Island. So there's great options in that Charleston area. Good job on this one.
See, we're going to jump down south to Miami Beach. This hotel's pronounced Faena. It is the sister resort of an Argentinian hotel by the same name, Faena. This is part of Leading Hotels of the World, LHW. And this hotel is, you see, it's got that Art Deco look, but they focus on imagination and class with unique experiences. And I'll share a few pictures here that give you a sense. In the upper left, they have this gilded golden mammoth skeleton out on their lawn overlooking the beach. Yeah, it's I've seen this. I give this hotel a shout out for hosting the Incentive Research Foundation Leadership Insights Forum last fall and board meeting. So thank you very much to them. But that mammoth is equal parts, fascinating and just totally obsessive compulsive of somebody collecting that and reassembling it and putting it in an air-conditioned box. But if you look at the bright colors of the artwork in the lower right, the bright colors of the umbrellas, you get a sense of the importance of artwork here. They have a lot of fascinating, beautiful artwork throughout the hotel and on the walls. And what I love about this is it's one of many, many great properties on Miami Beach to pick from that may offer a unique experience.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm just back from a Site Texas Technology Summit in Miami Beach, and we were hosted at the Eden Rock, which shares grounds with Nobu. Still some of the best sushi and sashimi on the planet. But also the St. Regis Bell Harbor we did a night's event, and Lowe's, which is on everybody's list for incentive in Miami Beach.
All right. Let's see. Next, much like Michael said, a sentimental choice for me on Clearwater Beach, which is on the west coast of Florida, 30 minutes from Tampa. Clearwater was where I got married, so I know that area well. Visited it many times over the last 35 years. It's often won Best Beach Awards from USA Today, and this year it's the best beach in America as voted on by TripAdvisor. And while it had great super beaches, for many years it lacked incentive quality hotels. But in the last 5 years, there's been a surge of development. The Wyndham opened, a Hyatt opened, a resort called Sand Pearl opened, all that are good incentive. They're probably 4-star incentive trips for maybe a 2 or 3 night domestic trip. We recently completed a trip for a telecom client that went to the Wyndham. The other thing I would tell you about the Wyndham is to focus on the word Wyndham Grand. Grand is a brand word for them that signals it's higher end hotels in their portfolio. And, it's a little bit beyond what many of us might picture for the Wyndham. Next, and quickly, we're going to finish with 2 more something extra ideas. This is part of our brand promise to always be delivering something extra. So, Rachel.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. So I might not have the honeymoon and wedding experience that you two share, but I will say the resort at Paws Up is quite spectacular and magical. It sits on 37,000 breathtaking acres outside of Missoula, Montana, and offers your group a truly unique incentive experience. Attendees can stay in luxurious lodge-style homes or in safari-style camps along the Blackfoot River. Combining glamour and camping, the resort trademarked the term glamping, and all of the glamour is evident in its air-conditioned and heated tents with private bathrooms, heated slated floors, and clawfoot tubs. Your group will experience all of the charm of the rustic camping mixed with modern amenities, not to mention the butler service and a s'mores master at your disposal. From the first time you land in Missoula, your group will never be at a loss for activities. The vast resort offers everything from cattle driving to clay shooting and outdoor spa treatments to culinary classes. The staff is also ready to flex their creative muscle and create an activity specific for your group. Your group can start the day in the 100-year-old bull barn for a business meeting and then head to the 60,000 square foot equestrian center to try their hand at wrangling cattle. They'll end the day with a chuck wagon tour of the property and a cookout in a meadow along the river. Sounds quite picturesque.
Wonderful, beautiful pictures. And one more idea in the something extra category.
Yeah, river cruising is trending. Just back from IMEX Frankfurt last week and trying to get closer to understanding the top options and routes, destinations. We've highlighted Crystal. There's others. I think one of my favorite was Scenic, the Azure on the Douro River in northern Portugal. Vineyards, Spain, Salamanca. Some great stops there along destinations throughout the rivers in Europe. And what's cool about this, Mike, is they travel at sea, so you go from port to port through the night. But you're cruising through these villages and towns that are lit up. So for some who might not like to be out on the deep blue sea, great options here with river cruising in and around Europe.
Okay, wonderful. So a couple of quick announcements to wrap up. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Rachel, for fabulous information and thought leadership you shared today. The other thing I'd like to say is thank you to our friends at Maui Jim for donating the gift card that we're about to do. So one of our colleagues here will be doing a drawing momentarily. Would love for you to send in any Q&A real quickly while we're doing the drawing. We did have just a couple of Q&As come in before we do the drawing. Let's see, I'll ask this to everybody here. In your opinion, what U.S. city do you think is the best for an incentive trip?
Great question. I think we'd probably want to back up and understand a little bit more about your audience because it could be that Nashville's a better fit than maybe a big city, San Francisco, Boston, or some we've spotlighted down in Miami.
Okay. And Michael, maybe one more quick question while we've got your ear. A question came in that said, would you recommend European resorts for a larger group of, say, 50 or 100 rooms, or would you stay closer to home?
If you can afford Europe, I think that's going to get their attention. You know, incentives are about moving the middle, getting their attention. The real motivator is in what's going to drive the behavior to achieve. So when you can put that European destination they may not have been to out on the end of that stick, I think you might get a bigger bang for your buck.
Okay, good. Well, I don't see any more questions. Let's see. We've got our drawing that was done, and looks like our drawing winner today is Chelsea. So I see on our attendee list we only have one Chelsea. So Chelsea, if you're still there, we'll be reaching out to you later today to send you a gift card from, again, our good friends at Maui Jim. And thank you so much for attending. We really value your time. Hopefully this is helpful. I would also say we just released on our website a full text version of this list of top incentive travel hotels for 2019. So if you search top incentive travel hotels for 2019 plus the word Bright Spot, Google will show you the way. Thanks very much and have a great day, everybody.
Cheers. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.